We should make up lyrics to this. Look at Frank and Eric, Ryan and Ron. Sometimes Trina, sometimes Joe.
Hello,
Good
everyone.
evening.
Welcome to Old World Tech Fridays.
Greetings and salutations. How is everyone this fine evening?
Tired.
Meh.
Yeah, it's definitely been a week, that's for sure.
I had a short week, and it was still a week.
Yes, that's right. You guys had not Queen Victoria's birthday holiday.
Right, yeah. We celebrate the Queen. Sure.
You know the band Queen?
I was going to say, are we referring to Freddie Mercury or referring to Elton John? Which Queen are we referring to?
Whatever Queen you want.
All of them. That's right.
You know, all of them.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tom.
Hey, Tom's here. Oh, that's a terrifying picture, Tom. Cool. So who do we have in the chat there, Frank? Who's joined us this evening?
We got CDI. Hello. We
Hey,
got
CDI.
JC. Hello. We got
Jesus is here.
I80386SX. We've got Garth Beagle, and we've got Tom Barber.
Now, is it the real Tom
Yes,
Barber
we
or
are
the
the
I
same.
can't believe it's the real Tom Barber? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell which Tom Barber it is. Oh boy! Before the show started, we were discussing some of the purchases we've made this week, which I'm sure Frank will show us at some point. But we were discussing, and maybe some of you in the chat can think about this. We're discussing how now that we're older and that we have, you know, what I would, I guess, refer to, if not Tom, then why Tom shaped. That's how they get you. It's like a T1000. He morphs into different shapes. If you know, as we're older now and have more disposable income, we're able to purchase things that we couldn't get when we were younger. Myself and Frank earlier were talking about how you know, we would see things in stores. And here in Canada, just a little sidebar, here in Canada, we had a store called Future Shop, which was sort of the Canadian version of Best Buy, which actually ended up being purchased by Best Buy. So I was telling Frank that at one point we had a Future Shop in St. John's where I live, and right across the street was a Best Buy. And then one night, the Future Shop just closed, and all the staff from the Future Shop moved over to the Best Buy. I was like, that's pretty funny. But anyway, I remember being being a teenager. Future Shop opened in the late 90s here. I remember going to Future Shop and seeing things like Voodoo cards, and seeing things like early NVIDIA and ATI graphics cards, and seeing things like Sound Blasters, and not being able to, and you know, thinking back, I was like, wow, back then, you know, a Sound Blaster was $100, and today that seems kind of like, well, that's $100. Why didn't I buy it? But I suppose we were talking. It's probably because $100 back then obviously was like $500 today. Can you imagine spending $500 on a sound card today? I can't. Right. But now that we are older, we get the ability to purchase some cool stuff. The harsh retail wars of the 90s. Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's true. Think of all the computer stores that have come and gone since
cow.
The dawn of the bubble, we'll say. And
Even
what survived, right? Like, and you think about our childhood, what's closed now? Well, we don't have Blockbuster anymore. We don't have, you know, there's pretty much just, you know, it kind of reminds me. Remember Demolition Man? It was like the restaurant wars.
Yes.
Taco Bell won. It's like retail wars. Who won? Walmart.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, Frank, going back to that, is one of the things you got this week actually was pretty impressive to me. Your thing to the left, I guess.
Down behind me?
Desk.
Yeah.
No, the thing to the left by your desk.
Yes. So I was lucky enough to pick up from a friend a new old stock, completely built. He built everything with new old stock parts. It is a 486 DX system here. This lovely beige tower. Focus. There we go. But let me see if I can get over here a little bit, because I think it's cool because it has a Diamond Stealth 64 video card in here.
Nice.
Asus motherboard. But yeah, it's got a 486 DX processor in here. I believe this one's a DX4, so it's 100 megahertz.
Now, actually, I'm going to point out it's not actually proper, but that 52 times
It is
CD
not.
ROM drive would
Yes.
not have been available when the 486 first came out.
It'd been like a 2 or a 4X.
Yep.
If you're lucky, maybe an 8X. But yeah, he also put a compact flash card in here that has
Nice.
DOS and Windows 3.1 loaded on it.
Perfect.
He did put a Gotek flash floppy on here for other stuff, but it does have a normal 3.5-inch drive as well. But it's
I like the 486 badge.
Case was new. Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. But it also has a
Badge?
blaster. It's got the Sound Blaster Gold card in it with a 32 meg.
You're missing something.
What happened?
You have to go to the hardware store and buy like the handle to a toolbox or something.
Oh, yeah.
That swivels and put it on the top.
Put it on the
so
top
you
to
can carry
take
it to your LAN parties.
Correct. And it has to be installed with the longest possible self-tapping screws.
Yes.
But not so long that they touch the board.
CDI, yes. I have pretty much all of the versions of NetWare.
Yes, he's a bit of a NetWare whore.
Yeah, I'm a NetWare whore. I've got lots and lots and lots of NetWare over there. 2 shelves of NetWare. The bottom 2 shelves are all NetWare stuff.
The best part is when the place inevitably floods and the insurance company comes in and goes, "Well, what was on those shelves? Was it worth anything?" You'll be like, "No, it wasn't. It was NetWare."
Yeah.
The soggy paper.
It's like, well, you notice how I prioritize the shelves in case of flooding. NetWare is at the bottom. No. This is built on skids and stuff, the shedded stuff out here, so I don't have to worry about it. But anyway, the 46 works great. It's got the Sound Blaster Gold card with the 32 meg upgrade on it. So before the show, I was playing Ryan some MIDI music and stuff that's on here, and that's what got us talking about the conversation. Like, I could never afford that sound card or any MIDI stuff back then. Yeah. Like, I was lucky enough to get the hand-me-downs that I got, from other people.
Like a Roland MT, is it MT32?
The MT, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, like, what was that when it was new? Because that had to be like $400 or $500. Right?
Unobtainium.
I feel like Ron has an MT32.
I believe he does, yeah. A few of our friends do. But I just remember, like, stuff like that was so out of the possibility of purchase.
Okay, so in 1987, the cost was $695, equivalent to $1,920 in 2024. Wow. So, yeah, not cheap.
No.
Not cheap.
Yeah, I had a 486, 100 megahertz 486 that I had pieced together from all sorts of stuff and spare parts, and that was my gaming rig.
But we were talking too, it's like you remember the holy grail of things. Like I remember I had a day planner when I was in about grade, because I'm really an old man who was probably like 12 at the time, but I was like a 90-year-old in a 12-year-old's body. But yeah, I remember I had a day planner and I had stuck in pictures of every piece of hardware. I wish I still had it, actually. I threw it out probably about 10, 12 years ago. But I had pictures of every video game I wanted to buy for that year and every piece of hardware I wanted to buy that year. And it was just like cool. Like, you guys remember how cool the Voodoo card like boxes looked?
Yes.
Like, nobody makes cool boxes anymore. I bought a video card not too long ago for a client build, and it was just a boring. It said like GeForce on it. Give us all your money, NVIDIA.
Yep.
It was just, I was like, this is green. I want to see bombastic, 3D rendered cyborg women with laser guns.
Yeah.
Right?
Although there are people still making cool boxes.
That is
like
true.
Who, Eric? Who's still making cool boxes?
Well, I've seen several. There's, I forget who it is, has that game for the Amiga. Recent edition.
Oh, me. Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, I think though. Sorry, I'm turning this on so I can show you guys.
But I am making boxes.
Ooh.
No, right here, Angry Robots. I believe that's for the 68K.
Yeah,
Mac.
Angry Robots is one.
I had to have Trina order it for me in Canada because they wouldn't ship it to the US.
Yeah, I was on the the initial Kickstarter for it.
Yeah, that's a cool box.
It is.
Nice.
He had someone professionally make that. I'm
But this is like
handcrafting
Chip's
mine.
Challenge, and I love
Okay.
Yeah.
Chip's
I
Challenge.
love Chip
so
Challenge.
That was so cool. You know who
Yeah.
else makes cool boxes? Hang on, let me grab them because I just had them. Oh, where did I put them? I know I just moved them the other day. Right here. Javier makes reproductions of boxes.
Yes, he
Oh.
does.
Old
Very
software.
good ones too.
And he had sent me some. And like this, the Prince of Persia, like that is a cool box.
Nice.
You know, and that's a remake that Javier did. I have no idea how you say this one.
Karateka.
So Karateka, like that's a cool looking box. But yeah, I mean, software used to come like this Vindicator one. I love the back of this one.
Well, you have to remember too, and I think part of it, like specifically speaking, and video cards were bad for it too. The gameplay was so terrible, and the graphics were so garbage. They had to they had to draw you in with really good-looking boxes.
And that's exactly it. But it's the same as you're talking about the video cards. Like they put a lot of effort into the packaging material because it was cool. When you're looking at a wall of graphics cards or video games or anything,
but
you're
like
gonna look at the cases. You're gonna be like, "Oh, that is cool looking." You know?
Yeah, you weren't buying online. You were buying in the store.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember like Voodoo cards just always had either like a System Shocky look to them, where they had like a face of something, be it a villain or whatever, and then they come in different colors depending on the model. And I just remember it being so cool. And I remember then looking at the price tag and being like, "Well, I guess I'll never have one of those."
Exactly.
I remember my first 3D card was like, I think it was on sale in 2000. I think it was when I first bought my first 3D card, and it was MX64. So it was a 64 megabyte NVIDIA something. And I remember it was really, really, I mean, it played games, but it was on sale for like, I think $99.99, regular like $150, and it was like $50 mail-in rebate or something. Remember when mail-in rebates were a thing?
Mail-in rebates, yeah. Huge thing.
Anyway, you're saying, Eric, you're first.
Oh, some of the games, you know, like for the the 8-bit machines, I'd have this really cool graphic on the cover of it, and then you'd play it and it'd be a square, a red square.
Yeah, you have to
around on the screen.
Expand your imagination.
Yes, all the graphics art went into the case cover.
But like I remember even the game like Centipede had a fantastic cover.
Yes.
Right? Like it looked cool. And then you're playing the game, you're like, oh, I'm just a whatever by whatever bit block moving around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
But yeah, so I got
this is the back of the game I'm doing, the box.
Nice.
So,
I like that.
So you can see those high resolution graphics in the game.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah.
You should jokingly refer to them as high resolution graphics.
That's right.
Yes.
Spare no expense.
But it does come with some goodies in the box. This is going to be a cloth game map.
So how are you getting that produced? Are you just going to like silk screen it or get it?
No. You can print your own fabric.
Oh, right. That's right. Yes. Using
that's the least expensive option. So
what's it called? The process is referred to as sublimation.
Yes.
You're gonna
Yep. So it's like melting plastic into the fabric.
Yeah. Cool.
That's pretty neat.
Exciting. And so, any more feelies in the box? You're gonna get like they're like tokens or?
There's gonna be. So I won't reveal. I mean, you'll probably recognize kind of what this character looks like.
Hang on.
There's a famous photograph of a creature walking through the woods.
It looks like Bigfoot.
Yep.
Looks like a sand squinch.
It's not the one from a Goofy movie though, because he had those pair of underwears on his heads with the headphones.
Yeah. This is it's not actually Bigfoot in the game, but it's a creature that's similar to Bigfoot.
Is it called a Sam Squinch?
No, it's a character from old fiction.
Okay,
that's pretty cool.
That's exciting.
Anyway.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So
Cool.
anyway, but there'll be little figurines like this in the box.
That's
Now
awesome.
the big question is, did you purchase on Amazon a pile of small ducks? How many thousands of ducks did you buy?
Oh, those are cool.
So yes, it does have a duck in it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome.
On that note, a friend of mine recently purchased a bunch of very small Jesuses. You can buy those bulk ducks. You can buy bulk Jesuses, little tiny ones on Amazon. Anyway, she decided to put it in her friend's to go into her friend's house after they're not home and put them everywhere.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Which I thought was an awesome practical joke.
That would be comical.
Well, a little card that says, "I saw that."
I saw that. I'm watching.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, going back to talking about the stuff we couldn't afford when we were younger. I mean, the sky was the limit when you were imagining it. And I'm sure we all had that one friend who seemed to always get the best nearly the best of anything, toys, video game consoles, computers. I had a couple of friends. I remember one of my friend who wasn't one of these guys, but his mom had scrimped and saved, and he got the first 1 gigahertz computer in our friend group. We thought that was like amazing. We were like, wow, gigahertz. What are we going to do with all this power? Meanwhile, it was a little, unbeknownst to us, it was a Celeron of some sort that was 1 gigahertz, and it was one of these like cheap e-machine computers. So, the components were pretty bad. It was all onboard video. There was no slots. I remember it had no AGP slot. It just had like 3 PCI slots, and that was it.
Oh, wow.
And there was a spot where you could have had an AGP slot, but again, it was made to such a cheap.
On the board.
They just said, we're not putting that there.
Yeah.
But I remember, and we were saying previously before we started, I got my first Voodoo card about 3 months ago. Hey,
Thanks
Joe.
for waking up to us.
Yes. Were we too loud? I'm sorry.
I just tried this new comments on stage beta thing, so that's why he's showing up down in the corner.
Oh, cool. I was wondering. I saw you flick it on, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, tried it just to see what it did because I haven't seen that before.
Cool.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll scroll up that side. That's kind of what I'm guessing.
I'm guessing it'll be like chat, and it'll keep it there for so long.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Best part of waking up is Joe in your... No, Joe. No, please don't. I like coffee.
I think he misspelled hand. Is that right?
Inappropriate. I love it. But yeah, I got my first Voodoo card there a couple of months ago in this compact computer here.
Yep.
And I was so excited because the gentleman that had got it, when he gave it to me, he just assumed the original card was still in it. He had forgotten that he had upgraded the card, probably 20 years ago. I was pretty excited to get it. I've never owned a Voodoo before. And I got to be honest, a lot of hype, a lot of weird glitches.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Like I installed Unreal on it because that was like the best game to play in on a Voodoo at the time when the card came out. And I was like, all right, it looks good. Half-Life looks pretty good. But besides that, I had a couple of games crash. It was a bunch of like I think Neverwinter Nights failed or crashed on it. And there was some other Microsoft like Civilization type game that kept crashing, but it wasn't Civilization. What's the Microsoft? It's not an RPG. What the hell's it called? I can't remember now. Anyway, it didn't like the card either, but it was cool. It was cool to experience and say, hey, now I have a Voodoo card. I was excited to get it. So yeah, anything else? I know that Frank got some new gets as well. Age of Empires. Thank you, Joe. That was the game. I was like Microsoft, kind of like Civilization. Somebody will get it.
Yes. Age of Empires. You're right.
I know. I saw it as soon as Frank logged in. I'm surprised nobody has asked any questions in the chat about it. But did you notice the large black thing behind Frank's head? Frank, you're blocking it. Now,
yeah,
this appears to be a computer of some kind.
This came in today.
All the way from the island of Japan.
All the way from Japan. It's a Macintosh Performa 5440, so it's 180 megahertz. I did not get the keyboard and mouse with it, just the computer itself, but it's in great shape. It looks extremely clean. It's got a TV tuner, just like the Apple TV did. It came originally with a remote control, just like the Apple TV. It's got, 753 on it right now, but obviously it's in Japanese, so can't really read that. So yeah. I traded a beige one of those for 2 Apple IIIs. That started my business. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Heck yeah.
Did you say it's a 5440?
Yep, 5440.
Isn't that a band? 5440? Pretty sure that's a band.
I don't know. Can I Google it?
The 5440s.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it is. It's a rock
band.
5440. Yes.
Yeah.
Not
and they're Canadian. Yeah, they're Canadian. That's why I'm like.
Oh, that explains it.
Yep. I was like, but yeah. So I got the 486 came in today. The Performa came in today, and then also this Packard Bell Legend 115, complete with the monitor.
Does anybody else really want Frank to do like one of those really terrible used car, like VHS style store like commercials, but for all his computers when they come in?
Oh my god!
This week at Frodo Jedi's.
What's that?
We want to see you in a computer.
What was the one from the early seasons of Rick and Morty where the guy was selling the doors?
Oh,
he was selling doors or something. Yeah. And that's what it was. Oh, geez, we got all kinds of doors. Any kind of door you could think of, we got it. You need a door that opens to the left, a door that opens to the right.
A door that doesn't open, we got it.
That's right. We got them. Yeah. Put them all over your house.
Good credit, bad credit, we don't care. Pay us in buttons.
Right. That's right.
Pay us in buttons.
Oh, my gosh. But yeah, so I'm on the hunt for a black keyboard and mouse for the Performa, just so that it's, complete.
You might be able to. I mean, I feel like that. I think I have a black Mac Addy mouse. I think.
Yeah, I'll be like Jerry Maguire. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
But yeah, no, it runs great. The Packard Bell Legend is also a 486.
Cool.
It's a slower 486, but it's a 486 as well. So yeah, that'll be cool to mess around with.
Did you guys get Packard Bell a lot in your schools? We had them up here pretty. They were like one of them and Phillips made a is it a quick start or something? First start, leap start, some sort of. It was specifically bespoke to the education market.
Leapfrog.
No, Leapfrog is VTech.
Now, when I was in school, we had the Apple IIs.
Right.
And originally we had ones that had the orange screens and we had ones that had the green screens. Okay. And then they went to the Apple IIcs. Like we had the nicer 2Cs were in like the library and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they went to LCs. And then after the LCs, they went to Dell's. Dell Optiplexes.
Yeah, we started, I think, with, I want to say they were 486s.
Huh.
And then we I think they were 486s. And there was a scattered Mac involved too. But besides that, it was mostly PC. Eric, are you working while you stream?
Yes.
Don't cut yourself.
Hey, I got a wife. I don't need you telling me the same thing she told me an hour ago.
Now, Eric, have you been told
I'm
yet
not
today?
good at multitasking with a knife.
Have you been told yet today?
Sorry?
Have you been told yet today?
An hour ago.
Oh, well, in general, like do you go wake up and the first thing you're told, just
something like that.
Yeah, fair
See,
enough.
I've not heard of those either. We went from Macs to Magtronic in school.
Magtronic.
See, what's funny is I can distinctly remember leaving school for the summer. We had the LCs, and then we go back in the next year, and the whole computer lab was all Dells. And then
were they like the beige Optiplex towers?
Yes, everywhere. Yeah. And then when in shop class, they had a portion of shop class, like we would rotate. Like they had wood shop, they had electrical, desktop publishing, like we'd rotate throughout the year.
Yeah.
And in the desktop publishing side, they had Gateway 2000 towers, the giant ones. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess because they had more oomph, I guess, or they could have more
I really have no
cards.
idea. I don't know if maybe it was part of a grant that they got for
Could
the
be
stuff
too, yeah.
or whatever, but I really don't know. But yeah,
I
I've
remember
never heard of these ones, these Magnetronic.
Magnetronics almost sounds like Magnaphonics, which was a brand, or Magnavox, I should say, not Magnaphonics. I keep thinking that episode of The Simpsons. What's a Sony? When he goes to buy a TV, and it's like,
yeah,
we have all the major brands. Sony? The hell's that? But just veering off a little bit today, I was reminded, and we forgot last episode. Actually, it might have even been 2 episodes ago. When was the? Yeah, it would have been 2 episodes ago. We missed a very important date. It was a very important 20th anniversary of something. So, in a show of hands, who's played World of Warcraft? And I'm sure people in our chat have as well. Well, in 2005, World of Warcraft was slightly less than a year old. Specifically, May 11th, 2005. Oh, look, you have the complete collection. When a very memorable event happened on May 11th. A gentleman by the name of what was his actual name? Ben Schultz, who you may remember is he's still sort of a YouTuber, but Ben was preparing for a dungeon raid and decided to go heat up some chicken. He wanted to heat up some chicken because he was hungry. So the rest of his clan, which were called Pals for Life, they or Pals Forever, they were preparing for this dungeon raid, and they were giving everybody a specific role. And it just so happened that Ben decided to leave and go get something to eat. So when he came back, he hadn't heard the plan at all. But being a very big man of culture, he did the correct thing. He proceeded to scream Leroy Jenkins and run into the dungeon before anybody else did. And so began the long-standing tradition of the term Leroy Jenkins. And it was so iconic that it actually got uploaded to a bespoke Blizzard like message board for World of Warcraft, because at the time and it was the videos, it was called like warcraftvids.com or something. It was a specific site for Warcraft videos. I vaguely remember it. And it got popular. It got
South Park episode.
What's that?
They even did that South Park episode.
Yeah, and it became so popular that it was watched like 2 or 3 million times in the first week that it was posted. And then it got posted to a up and coming channel or up and coming website you guys might be familiar with. At the time, nobody thought it was going to go anywhere, but it was a channel called YouTube.
Yep.
In 2005, it was very new. Anyway, long story short, May 11th, 2005, the legend of Leroy Jenkins is born. It is so pervasive in modern video game culture now that like you said, it's been referenced on South Park. It's been referenced on Big Bang Theory. It's been referenced on dozens of other shows, dozens of movies. And it was so important in the history of World of Warcraft. Blizzard actually made a character, an NPC called Leroy Jenkins, who still to this day exists in the game. And again, like you'll hear at some point in your travels, I'm sure, around the world or even in your own communities, you'll hear someone scream Leroy Jenkins before they do something absolutely stupid, something crazily bombastic. They will scream it and then commit some event. So anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, oh, I forgot that had happened, and I forgot that the 20th anniversary was this year. It's hard to believe it's 20 years. I gotta say, this mortality thing is getting a little out of hand. Realizing that we're all getting older and nobody's getting younger. But yeah, hey Francois, thanks for joining. But yeah, that goes back to high school. World of Warcraft came out the year that I graduated high school, so we didn't play any of it in the actual computer lab.
No, we didn't either. We played
But
StarCraft and
but I do
like
remember
that.
playing a lot of Warcraft 3, like
Yep.
and a lot of StarCraft. I mean, do you guys remember StarCraft? How terribly powerful the Zerg rush was, and anytime anybody did it, you were like, "Oh, it's such a cheating move." We had rules like you weren't allowed to use it if you were Zerg because it was just stupidly powerful. Was watching Kai Can live stream? KaiCon? What is KaiCon? Is that
Not sure.
It's either some sort of
maybe it's cooking.
It's cooking?
No, I don't know. I said maybe it's cooking.
Maybe it's cooking. I was thinking it was more like it's either like PCB building or seems like one of the upcoming features does half of the plugin I'm writing. Oh, KiCad conference. Oh, okay, gotcha. KiCad for doing PCB layouts. Gotcha, cool. Anyway, that was Leroy Jenkins, and yeah, going back to the computer labs in school, we played a lot of StarCraft, played a lot of Warcraft 3. Did a bit of 3D shooters, like Delta Force 2 was one of my like go-to favorites. I think that was actually one of the first games I ever actually played online with my friends on dial-up.
Do you remember Shockwave.com?
Oh, Shockwave, of course.
We used to do that when we were in computer lab, and we'd play pool and all kinds of stuff on the computer, so with the Shockwave. Yeah,
we'd go to is it Pretty Awful? No, Something Awful, somethingawful.com. That was a shock forum website. It was sort of like social media, but you had to have a subscription to it, and you had to pay for it. But it was a one-time fee of like $5 US to get an account. One of the kids in our class, Newgrounds, that was classic. We did a lot of Penny Arcade, same thing. And it's funny, you think back now, like all these Flash games don't exist, and I thought like Flash was dead.
Well, no,
and it is dead. There are ways to play these games outside. There's a guy that has built a little repository where you can just go and download this little program and you can play all the Flash games. But a lot of kids in my class still play online games. It's all HTML5 now, and it's all different. But there's still like lots of websites that they play where they play Beat Saber type games, and sometimes they're actually like real nice 3D games, and then a lot of them play like Roblox and stuff, which has mini games inside it. Archive.org has an in-browser emulator. Oh, awesome. There you go.
I feel like there was an extension you could download for Google Chrome at one point in time, or Firefox, that kind of was Flash, but not really.
Possibly. So, Eric, what's the per time on each box? Or time per
Well, it varies a little bit. It's about 45 minutes to do a box.
Okay. That's a lot of work.
It is.
How many boxes are you making?
50.
That's a lot of time.
How can one pre-order?
Yes. Is there a website I can go to?
No pre-orders.
Oh. Are you only
selling? Gotta go to VCF Midwest.
I was gonna say you're only selling a VCF Midwest? All right.
Well, I'm going to sell the 50 there. I'll make more if there's demand, but I probably should set up pre-orders.
It's not a bad idea. Then you also get the cash up front, which is nice.
Yep. Because I'd like to pre-order, and I won't be at VCF, so yeah.
Okay.
I also will not be at VCF this year, which I'm very sad about.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I'm standing up for our country, so. It's funny, actually. All the airlines here are like crying to send people to the United States. They got stupid price deals to try to get people.
Buy our tickets.
Yeah, they're like one of our like regional airlines just got an agreement to fly in and out of Newark. And I'm like, well, first off, nothing's getting in and out of Newark because it's a terrible airport right now. And second off, nobody's buying those tickets. But oh well. Cool. Any other gets this week, Frank?
Hang on, let me think about it. So yeah, there was the 486. There was these two. Hang on, give me 1 second. I feel like. I really don't know.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't think. I can't remember.
Okay, cool.
Check in the other room. I don't think so.
I didn't get anything this week. Trying to think what
I got some joysticks for,
nice.
a couple computers.
Oh, don't say joystick too loud. You'll get Javier.
Yeah,
You'll wake Javier up.
Yeah, I got a few joysticks.
Oh yeah, nice. That's a what's it called? Isn't it the brand? Is it a Cherry? Not Cherry.
This is 3D printed.
Oh, okay. Not what I thought it was then.
Yeah, I don't know. And then this one is made in Taiwan. Suncom?
Oh yeah, Suncom. Yeah, I've got a couple of Suncom controllers. Joysticks.
Shazam.
You woke them up.
And then I've got a couple adapters. I believe these go for my Tandy 1000, I think.
Cool.
I feel like that's what it is.
Nice.
And then an Atari joystick converter.
Of course.
Yeah.
Deadly.
Yeah, I think that's probably it, to be honest. I have some things inbound. But yeah, I'll save those for next week.
I was going to say, I have to save those for next week. I didn't get anything this week, but I've just been mostly doing car stuff. I'm trying to get this van finished so that I can get it out of my garage so I can bring in other things that also need work. I've got a pile of work to do to my my Audi, and I've got a pile of work to do to my my Golf. And other new projects are also inbound, car related, so I have to make room for those. I'm very excited. I will share those. Who's here? I don't see you. What?
Yeah,
what do you mean?
I didn't buy anything new this week either.
No.
Javier said I'm here.
Oh.
Just before that, so I think that's
any good auctions in the area, Eric? See anything at the auction?
No, it's been a little slow lately.
Yeah. Is that normal, or do you have, famines and feasts? Or is it?
Yeah, it's more feast to famine. It just kind of varies.
Gotcha.
We're going into yard sale season, which is exciting.
Well, it's funny. I actually watched
a.
If you guys don't follow him, Rick's game. It's a RICK game. He's a guy that lives in, I want to say it's Missouri or Tennessee, one of those places. Anyway, he owns a game store with his family, and they travel around all over the United States buying video games. And they went out to LA this recently to a big like outdoor market there, and the whole title of the game was swap meet markets, flea markets, are they dead for games, for secondhand games? And I gotta be honest, yeah, I think they are. Like the prices of stuff were just out to lunch, like they were full on retail for video games. Like there were a couple of really good deals to be had, but if anything, they were either newer titles that were being sold for basic retail, or they were older titles that I know what I have. I've checked eBay, and there was no haggling with them. Like they had the original N64 controllers. They wanted $35 for a crummy, gross old N64 controller. Right, not even new, like used with bad sticks. I'm like, wow, that's terrible. Right, like that's going to cost me, at least an extra $5 or $6 in parts to fix, and it's they're not they're worth $40 if they work and are restored. So I don't know, flea markets, and I think those bigger like swap meet type things are probably going to be a harder thing now, because as people figure out the value of stuff and people keep paying it. We were talking about this before, Frank. The whole, I was telling Frank earlier, the used van market. If you're looking for, used Sprinter vans or used anything, or used RV vans, or older RV vans, because of this whole van life phenomenon that's occurred.
Oh, yeah, ones you can convert.
Yeah, they've skyrocketed in price. Like you could, in my lifetime, and I don't mean like 20 years ago. I mean, 5 years ago, I had an option to buy a somewhat used Mercedes Sprinter van for $500. Now you'll be hard pressed to find one that's not $6 or $8 grand, and that's assuming it's just a van. And then you got to put a whole, RV style interior in it. But I was saying to Frank earlier, the older sort of, GMC or Dodge type vans, camper vans that came from the factory as campers, again, they used to be able to pick those up for 3, 4, 5 grand. Good deal. Now they're selling for 13 or 14, 15, 20,000 for the same van. It's like, oh my God, this is terrible. But I think that's happening everywhere. I think the little hobby niche things now have become very popular, and they've forced the prices to be through the roof for stuff. And
I saw one of those, living out of your van kind of thing.
Yeah,
down by the river. You know,
there's a lot of them anymore.
Guy had an ambulance that he was converting because it had a pretty good size thing. It was diesel.
Yeah.
Yep.
But again, like you used to be able to pick those up for $500 at the auction. Now they're going for $5 or $6 grand because I guess people know what they're worth. But anyway, I don't get it. I just shake my head. It's kind of like retro computers. There's a guy here locally trying to sell a very rare Apple 128 that's been upgraded to a 512, and he thinks he's got this super rare thing. He wants $700 or $800 Canadian for it, and I'm like, dude, the most valuable part is the keyboard, and that's broken. I'm like, it's a 128. It's $100.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yep.
Eric, my mother-in-law says you need to get a Cricket.
That's a good idea.
My wife has a Cricket. My wife does have a Cricket, but it's hers.
Yeah, but she could probably do those for you quick with the machine.
Yeah, I don't think she's got the one she has. I don't think could handle the chipboard. It'd be too much for it.
Mm.
The new Bamboo 3D printer does paper, wood, 3D printing, and laser etching now.
Yeah,
it's a 3-in-1 machine.
You'll buy what for $100? Apple's Anonymous.
Oh, the 128.
The reality is that if I did this much more than I'm going to, I'd end up buying the boxes.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you can go and just order the dimensions you need from somebody. I'm sure there's.
Now, what is it? You're printing the artwork and gluing it to the chipboard?
It's full-size labels.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm limited on my size to 8.5 by 11.
Right.
And I made 4 boxes originally, and then Gut Bomb had to say, "Gee, you should put a CD in there," because I was just going to have go to the website, download the game,
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, great, yeah. I was 2 millimeters too narrow for a CD.
Of course.
So I had to redesign the whole thing, and I'm pushing the limits of the printer. But
now, couldn't you just put the CD in a big cattywampus? It would just.
Yeah, I wanted it in the box. I'm going for the
look and
kind
feel
of the premium artisan thing.
Yes,
that's pretty
grain-fed, ethically raised boxes.
That's right.
Yes, exactly.
free range boxes.
Spare no expense.
But sir, that's a Ford Explorer. Some expenses were spared. That's funny. But yeah, so I think the price of stuff has just gone out the window, and I think a lot of these. So I think where you actually are going to find your good deals still, which is what Frank said originally, which is yard sales. I think yard sales are one of those things that, especially if it's just an individual selling stuff at the end of their driveway, or in their yard, or in a garage, that's where you're going to find the deals. But going to these bigger events now, the bigger swap meets, the bigger antique malls, everything is just eBay pricing, and you very rarely find deals.
I tell you, most of the time I find things on Marketplace. Just people trying to get rid of stuff.
That's true.
I find sometimes my best scores have been seeing things in the background of posts that are unrelated to what's in the background.
Yep.
Or what's in the foreground.
I was just going to take that and throw it out. I didn't think it was worth anything.
Yeah, I'm like, is that what did I get recently? It was old CRT monitors. They were like trying to get rid of a TV, and there were 2 like nice Trinitron style monitors just in the background. I was like, so I don't really want your television, but tell me more about these TVs or these PC monitors. So yeah. Oh my. Anyway, It's going to be fun. We're almost done for the school year. We've got about 3 weeks left to the school year here. When's school finished for you guys? Because you guys are usually a bit
24th.
24th of June or 24th of. Okay,
June.
so that's later than I thought you guys went. We only
finished,
go to the 18th.
School finished here about 5 years ago.
Funny guy. You're a funny guy, Eric.
Yeah.
Funny how? I'm here to amuse you.
It's getting warm out here. I'm gonna have to get the split
mini split put in.
Oh yeah.
Did you order one after on Amazon?
Yeah, same one that you got.
One, the Causeway. Yep. Yeah, my in-law or my sister-in-law and her husband are upstairs. They seem to love it. I mean, we haven't had a lot of hot weather here yet. Today was probably the hottest day of the year so far. It was, I think, 26 degrees Celsius.
You still have snow on the ground, right?
No, that all melted away for the 2 days.
Compact Armada, they were neat machines.
I drove 2 ways to buy a Compact Armada for a docking station. I regret nothing. Yeah, no, like I remember the Armada, the laptops. They were cool. Like they were like premium, or they seemed at the time to be a premium laptop. Apples and honest, I finished school 40 years ago. Wow, I wasn't even born. Sorry, that's always my dick answer when someone tells me how old something is. I'm like, wow, I wasn't even born. Cool.
All right, well, Liam refers to the 90s as the 1900s.
Yeah, I know. So do my students, and it kills me inside every time they talk about it. What was it? A bunch of my kids were singing a song from like my time, and I was like, "How do you know this song?" They're like, "Oh, it's in a TikTok." I'm like, "Oh, I feel so dead inside." I feel like it was
one of those black round things that you put on a thing and it turns.
A record?
Well, they still put out records, so that's not even a thing anymore. Like they legitimately do new records.
Yeah. That is true.
So we can't say that.
Although I will say that cassette sales have overshot record sales now. New cassette sales.
Tapes?
Yeah, like last year, I think it was 2024, 2023. Cassette tapes sold more than records.
Oh, they should bring back the Columbia House Record Club, cassette club thing.
8-track, yeah, we'll just skip right to 8-track. I actually have a really cool piece of tech. It's somewhere in the garage here. It converts an 8-track to a tape. So you could jam this thing into your 8-track player in your car, and you can put in a regular cassette tape.
Oh, no kidding.
It's a pretty cool little piece of tech, yeah.
That's kind of neat.
I bought a bunch of old radios, and I got like 3 or 4 of them. I was like, I gave them to a few buddies I know who have 8-tracks in their older cars. So what they did was they went 8-track to tape to headphone jack into their phone. Oh, actually, no, that's a lie. Headphone jack to adapter to USB-C in their phone.
So I got the perfect age test. Sci-Fi, the Sci-Fi Channel. How do you spell it? Because they changed it.
Well, here in Canada, it was called Space, the Imagination Station.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's not about science or fiction anymore.
No, not anymore. Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, no, it's really weird when you think about like what shows like. What's a science fiction station now? I would say it's HBO.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like let's say
Apple Television.
Example,
Apple TV,
Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
What the Discovery Channel used to be versus what it is now.
Do they even do Shark Week anymore? If they do, they probably show Sharknado. Would be my
probably. Yeah. Right. Probably. But yeah, that's changed a lot.
Yeah. I remember, and you think about like MTV. Like I don't want to be like one of these old people. Back when I was a kid, MTV had music on it because it didn't.
Video killed the radio star.
Right? Like MTV had music for the first like 3 years, and then it was all. Then it slowly started.
Then it started with like The Real Life and Daria and
Real World. When that came out, it ruined it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we had like. I'm sure you guys had it too. We had Much was our MTV here in Canada. We still got MTV, but we had our own Canadian version called Much Music. And then they had like Much Music 2 and Much Music 3. They're almost like going like the BBC. And you wanted to watch music, you actually had to music videos. You actually had to like watch Much 2 or Much 3, not the actual regular Much. And I think MTV was much the same. There was another MTV channel that allowed you to watch just music videos. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, I am getting very tired and really have to use the bathroom. So I think we're at 50 minutes. We should wrap it up. Any announcements or anything? Eric, are you streaming tomorrow?
Oh, no, I am making boxes tomorrow.
You're not going to stream the box making process?
No, there's corporate secrets. You can't let
tomorrow. No, I am going to record video of the process of doing all this and release it, because there was I think he's in the UK. I'm sorry, microphone.
We can still hear you.
This guy in the UK did this really great tutorial on building game boxes and making your own little, thing. And I'm like, thank you, because I wouldn't have done it the way he was doing it.
Yeah.
Question for you: how are you actually putting the boxes together? Are you using like the brown paper tape?
No, the label itself is the structure to hold the sides together.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, cool.
Because it's a sticky label.
And it's bigger than the actual box face, so you fold it down over the side. Okay, gotcha. Now I understand.
Sense.
Cool.
Yep. So you lay this down.
Oh, yep.
And then you place, watch tomorrow and I'll show how to do it.
Cool.
But there's a technique for doing it to make sure that the paper folds around the corner instead of stretching and breaking the print. So,
cool.
And then the first thing I figured out is, I bought a Brother laser printer because it's got the least expensive ink.
Right.
Kind of refills are not ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't do a plastic, fused coating. It's a different kind of it's still laser process, but it's a little different. It actually would chip off. Layers would chip off a little bit, flake off. And so I got some clear coat spray and just spray the surface with it, and that works. Cool. So I'm learning as I go.
Neat. Very exciting. I look forward to that video. I don't think I'm doing anything this weekend. I might stop in and see Dave on Dave's stream. I haven't been there in a couple of weeks, so I might stop in and say hello. I don't know if Trina's not in the chat, but I would imagine she's probably streaming at some point the weekend. She usually does. Same thing with Tech Ambrosia. I assume she usually streams on Saturdays. She might be streaming this week. Check it out. So if you like what you've seen this evening, please feel free to hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you don't mind. We only do this once a week. Usually there's a fourth with us. Usually Ron is here, or we have a special guest. But Ron could make it this evening, so hopefully he'll be back next week. Any final words of wisdom from anybody?
I
forgot to say. I also forgot to mention. Unfortunately, a sad day today. Loretta Swit, the Margaret Houlihan from MASH, Hot Lips, passed away today. She was 87.
No. Wow.
Yeah. So it's funny. She was very, very approachable with her. She was a very approachable person, and she was very active on Facebook. And I remember I have a copy of an original MASH script that I bought years ago, and I had, it was from the costume department, and I posted on a Facebook group for MASH. I said, hey, I bought this a couple years ago. Here's some of the costume notes for the different actors, and I had posted a picture of her costume notes from that episode. And she actually responded, and I wrote a little note saying it was cool to see this, and thanked me for So it was kind of cool. She was very approachable. You could always tag her and stuff, and she would always respond. She was very, very much involved with her fans. So grew up on MASH, loved it. Still watch it at least once a year. I go through the whole series. But yeah, so unfortunately now the only ones left are Radar and what's his name?
Klinger.
And the guy who was the cook.
Not Rizzo.
Not Rizzo, no. The guy was a cook. Igor. He's still alive. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And Alan Alda obviously is still alive. Although he's not doing well, apparently. He's in the stages of Alzheimer's or dementia or something along those lines. So anyway, sad stuff. It's sad when you see your favorite actors and actresses get old and pass on, especially if they were sort of paramount to your childhood. Which MASH was. It was. I came home at 3:00, and MASH was what I watched on television. It was always on before supper, so it was years after it had been on television. It was in well into syndication at this point. But yeah, I remember I used to watch it very religiously. So anyway, on that note, I will quote MASH as I often do. Sidney Friedman, the psychiatrist on MASH, would often say, "Ladies and gentlemen, take my advice. Pull down your pants and slide on the ice." So Have a good night, everybody. And if you can be anything in this world, be kind to each other.
Be
Have a
kind,
good evening.
rewind.